All right. Shalom. We're the Brothers of Great Millstone, the church here in Birmingham, Alabama. And as always, want to begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory
to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Yeah, in the ancient Hebrew tongue, it will be the correct name of the Heavenly Father, His only begotten Son, and the Holy Spirit. I also would like to give double honors to our teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the brothers that are laboring in His work. And as always, you believe us, the Akim as well as the Aqua, that subscribe to the truth as well. So yeah, this is going to be the 37th installment of As Foretold in the Scriptures, which is an ongoing series dedicated to prophets. And right now things is happening. Obviously for those of you who are in the know, you know that we're moving closer and closer to the return of our Lord Yahushua, which will pretty much cement the salvation of the elect of the nation of Israel, meaning the overthrow of the wicked, the so-called white man. Got to remember, this is a battle, all right? There's a certain resistance. Matter of fact, you give me that real quick, one set against another, all right? And also, give me Psalms 98, and let's start at the very top. Because each day the sun rises and the sun sets, it marks one step closer to our Lord Yahushua, delivering the elect of the nation of Israel, all right? So before we get that, go ahead and give me what you got.
Okay, this is Ecclesiastes Sirach 33 and 14. Good is set against evil.
Yep, so there's a battle going on here, man. There's a resistance. All right, it's no coincidence if you're paying attention, this truth begin to flood the planet Earth, and all of a sudden you got the so-called white man and his machine working, through his media. All right, it's all an effort to combat truth. That's that resistance. See? Go ahead.
Good is set against evil,
yep, go ahead.
And life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly.
Yeah, so everything has been pitted one against another. Matter of fact, continue.
So look upon all the works of the Most High.
See, so look upon all the works of Yahweh Shema, right? Hey, if you consider the animal kingdom, right, the world of the beasts, you'll see that everything is a fight. Especially you consider like mating season. You have different, you have prides, whether it's tigers, lions, or whatever, different elk, buffalo, where you have a fight at the top for dominance. Yep. They don't sit down and diplomatically work nothing out, man. All right, everything is a resistance with Yahweh Shema. Exodus 15 and 3. The Most High is a man of war. See, go ahead.
It says, so look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are 2 and 2. One against another.
See, and there are 2 or 2, one against another. So there's no coincidence that as we push forth this word, you see the momentum of truth being brought forth. Then you're going to see Esau is going to be more of a resistance. All right? You got
something real quick? Yeah, this Proverbs 29 and 27. An unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is an abomination to the wicked.
Those are the two contrasts. All right? An upright man is an abomination to the just and vice versa. Okay? Matter of fact, give me real quick Genesis 1 and 3. All right? Who got that without call?
This is Psalm 98 and verse 1. Oh, sing unto the Lord, Yahweh Yahushua, a new song.
Go ahead.
For he hath done marvelous things.
Yep, and what's a part of those marvelous things? The awakening of Israel. Right? The fact that we was called out of obscurity, called out of darkness into this marvelous light. That's marvelous. That's a marvelous work. That's a beautiful piece of work right there. Seeing that the so-called white man was banking, he put all his stock into keeping us in derision. So that's a miraculous work right there. The fact that the Lord raised us up. Go ahead.
says, for he hath done marvelous things. His right hand and his holy arm have gotten him the victory.
See, have gotten him the victory. So in order for there to be a victory, there have to be a lock of horns. There have to be some form of competition. There have to be a resistance. For someone to come out the victor, then that means that was a resistance. Matter of fact, real quick, look up that word victory. All right, give me what you got.
Genesis 1 and verse 3. And the power said, let there be light, and there was light.
Yep. Go ahead.
And the power saw the light, that it was good, and the powers divided the light from the darkness.
And the key word there is divided. So the light and the darkness, there's a division between the two. Okay? So you got that definition?
I got a simple Google definition of victor. It says an act of defeating an enemy or opponent in a battle, game, or other competition.
Yeah, see, that's bad. See? All right? The act of defeating an opponent. Okay? Which an opponent goes back to opposition. All right? So what you're witnessing right now is all in line, is in harmony with biblical prophecy. Okay? Now, the reason why we wanted to even touch on that, let me get what you got real quick there, John Orville.
Oh yeah, Con.
And we'll build off this.
Con. So this is a quote. This is a quote from George Orwell, and it reads, "In a time of universal deceit."
Right, in a time of universal deceit. All right, meaning here it is. You have everybody on one accord, and the driving force is deceit. You know, that proves that the so-called white man is in power. Okay? Matter of fact, get that real quick in Revelation, the 20th chapter. Start at the top. You got something up?
Yeah, Con. This is on 2nd Ezra 6 and 27. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched.
And deceit shall be quenched, proving that prior to the Lord bringing forth this truth, right, and putting this truth at the forefront, deceit, lies, falsehood dominated the planet Earth. And who was the driving force behind it? Esau. All right, the devil, the so-called white man. Scriptures tell you that you are of your father, the devil. He was a murderer. All right. Pretty much, he was a liar. He was a deceiver. See that? Go ahead.
It said, as for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome.
Go ahead.
And the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared.
So now we're in a time where truth is now being declared. So that's the war. That's the resistance. All right. Truth is now overwhelming lies, falsehood, and deceit. See? Go ahead.
Got something. This on Galatians 4:16. Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth?
Yeah, and there's a reason why that was written, because this is the time where truth will be an offense. Okay? And that's why you got YouTube guidelines. All right, you receiving emails, certain topics you might touch on. They said, look, nope, that's a violation of YouTube guidelines. When we understand that, it's the truth. We bring it out. Matter of fact, give me Revelation real quick. You got the 20th chapter. Somebody else give me Revelation 14. We start at the top of that. I know you can stay right here where you at. And go ahead and
read it. Revelation 20 and 1.
Let's start at verse.
He went out to
see the nations, yeah.
Like
7. Yeah, start right there. Go ahead, start right there.
Okay, come.
Matter of fact, start at the top. Then we'll
Revelation 20 and 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit.
Yeah, go ahead.
And a great chain in his hand.
Yeah, and a chain. Why is there a chain? A chain really represents slavery, man. Because in order for power to be established, you have to subdue everything else. That's how you solidify your power. And the so-called white man came into power by enslaving Israel, man. Really, when you go into it. All right, that was at the forefront of them establishing this nation. See, go ahead.
And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent.
Yep, the dragon, that old serpent that's dealing with Esau. Right, go ahead.
Which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years.
Now, bound him 1,000 years. Now, jump down to the 7th verse.
Revelation 20 and 7. And when the 1,000 years were expired.
Yeah, so now when the 1,000 years was expired, go ahead.
Satan shall be loosed out of his prison.
Go ahead.
And shall go out to deceive the nations.
And shall go out to what?
to deceive the
To
nations.
deceive the nations. See that? So by us being pretty much the symbol of truth, right? That's a direct attack. That's a direct resistance against this dragon that we're speaking about. Because what was at the forefront of him coming out of that pit? Deceiving the nations. See? So that's why this quote we read, let's read that one more time.
The quote, it reads, in a time of universal deceit.
See, in a time of universal deceit, that will prove that that's the time of the dragon. Okay? If you base your presentation upon the scriptures, because that's what we do. We measure, we gauge everything according to biblical prophecy. So according to the prophecy, that would be a time where this dragon, right, which that's a buzzword for a particular nation, this dragon, he would come into power, and what would be at the forefront of him establishing his power? Deceit. See? It's in the best interest of Esau to deceive the nations. All right, so let's read this again.
It says, in a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act.
Telling the truth is a revolutionary act. See that? So that's a direct contrast right there. That's where the resistance starts, with the thought, with the idea, and an entity, if you will, that starts from the left hand to the right, those two extremes. And once pitted together, is going to be a major resistance. So you have truth and you have lies. All right. And now we read right here, go back to Revelation the 20th chapter.
Revelation 20 and verse 8. And shall go out to deceive the nations.
Yeah, so this dragon, he will go out and deceive the nations. See, go ahead.
Which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea.
Right. So this man would go out, and what would be at the forefront of his mission would be deception. See that? So that's why that quote, it rings volume. It rings true. All right. In a time of universal deceit, which this is the time of Esau, speaking truth is a revolutionary act. All right. So what you got?
Yeah, real quick. This Psalm 58:3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born.
As soon as they be born. See, go ahead.
Speaking lies.
Speaking lies. He's estranged from the womb. Right. As soon as they're born, they're speaking lies. That goes into what we just read right here in Revelation the 20th chapter. If you can receive, where scriptures say, when he come out of the pit, he should go out deceiving the nations. Okay, so that pit is equivalent to this womb. The wicked is estranged from the womb. All right, meaning as soon as he come out of the womb or come out of the pit, he's speaking lies or deceiving the nations. Because obviously we know a baby don't come out of the womb talking, reasoning with you. It has to lie to you. So what does it mean when it says the wicked is estranged from the womb? Well, that translates to what we just read in Revelation 20th chapter. They come out of the pit or the womb deceiving or speaking lies. So that's why we know that contributes to why we came up to the conclusion that you the damn devil. All right. And also the fact that by us speaking truth, this is a direct attack against your agenda. Why? Because you promote lies. Go ahead.
I want to back y'all up by a quote from Rod Sterling, of the librarian. He said, every superstate has one iron rule.
Now, Rod Sterling, that's the creator of the Twilight Zone series, which he wasn't no low-level guy. He wasn't no peon. He was tapped in. He was what you might consider analytical. Oh, which, by the way, when you go into his career, at the end of his career, he had burnt all his bridges in Hollywood. He was pretty much bumping heads with everybody in Hollywood. And we believe he could be a Jake. All right, go ahead.
Kind of says, quote, Rod Sterling, every superstate has one iron rule. Logic is an enemy and the truth is a menace.
That's it. All right. Any establishment, their main rule is that if you thinking with logic, you're a problem. And certainly truth is an offense. See that? So that proves that Yahweh Shai, in the very overtone of Yahweh Shai, if you will, the very essence of him and his ministry going forth, right? It is a contradiction to what's established here. Because Yahweh Shai is all about truth. Give me that real quick in St. John, 14th chapter. Go ahead.
Isaiah 59:15. Yeah, truth fella.
Right, true fella. Why is true fella? Because we're in a time of lies and deceit, which is all framed with darkness. Give me real quick, Job, the 10th chapter, hold that. Go ahead up.
It says, yeah, truth fella, and he that departed from evil, making himself a prey.
Yeah, and how do we depart from evil? In the mind. And that's pursuing what's that, Romans, the 12th chapter. It says, conform not to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, which is facilitated by what? A doctrine. So by the Lord, through his mercy, opening us up, right, to receive this information, then by default, we departed from this world. See that? Yep, so that was it on it up?
Good, that was it.
All right, go ahead up.
Job 10.
10 and 18. Start at 18.
All right. The book of Job 10 and 18, it says, wherefore then hast thou brought me forth out of the womb?
Let me see. Start at verse 21.
Job 10 and 21.
That womb, you know, out of the spirit. Right? That's actually the pit.
It says, before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness, and
even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death, which we touched on is that darkness symbolizes the misinformation. It pretty much symbolizes deceit. Because you got to remember, it's two opposing forces we're dealing with. It's really not a gray area. You have light or darkness. Light symbolizes truth because light brings clarity. Light brings everything to a close. You get to the bottom of things with light. That's why if you see something, you lose something, the first thing you do is look for the light. The light symbolizes truth. So obviously darkness hides the truth. You know, that's why people do things in the dark. See that? So when it says the land of darkness, this is dealing with the land of deceit, which goes back to Esau. Esau is the driving force behind the deception that you see on display. See that? Go ahead.
It says, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death. Verse 22, a land of darkness as darkness itself.
Yep, as darkness itself. Go ahead.
And of the shadow of death without any order.
Yeah, so we know that's dealing with America, Babylon the Great, which that word Babylon goes back to confusion. The Hebrew word that being Babal, right? It said a land of what? A land without what?
It says of the shadow of death without any order.
See, go ahead.
And where the light is as darkness.
So even what's perceived to be truth is actually darkness, man. So you see the two contrasts is you have light and darkness. So if the Lord gave us the light, which I'm gonna just throw this out there, Yahweh Shai was the most controversial man ever. All right, from his birth, when the Lord was born, who else can make that claim? How you have a nigga acting like they had drama and they beef? Did you have the whole fuck one cop? Did you have the whole military after you when you was born? Just being born as a babe, you got the whole military after you, man, looking to take your life. So that alone proved that Yahweh Shai is the most controversial man ever, but mainly when concerning Esau. Why? Because Esau symbolizes lies, deceit, deception, falsehood, wickedness, darkness, and Yahweh Shai represents light, truth. Matter of fact, go ahead and give me that in St. John.
This book
so these two entities couldn't exist or coexist with one another. So if you claim to come under the banner of Yahweh Shai, then by default, what's going to happen? You're gonna be demonized. All right, you're gonna have people pretty much talk shit about you. You know, make railing accusations against you. Why? Because you come in the spirit of Yahweh Shai. Go ahead, up.
This St. John 14:6. Yahweh Shai said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life.
I am the way, the truth, see, and the life. See that? So Yahweh Shai in these very teachings, right, which we hold fast to, they represent truth. So by default, then this is going to be a conflict of interest, if you will, to Esau and what's at play. See, go ahead.
And Yahweh Shai said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me.
Yep, see that? So right now, what we're witnessing is a spiritual war. All right? And the fight is for the kingdom of heaven, man. Which is really rulership. You know, those who, see, Esau is scratching tooth and nail. This man is clawing for what we have, for the inheritance, man. See that? And he's not going to go down without a fight. This man's going to proceed forth with trying to gain access to that power. And he know that we're in the way. We'll be that potential threat to the so-called white man, him moving on his next phase. All right, come on, you got something? Hey, we start with Zay when we come around.
2 Corinthians 10:4. It said, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
Yep, so this is a war, but it's not carnal. Okay, go ahead.
But mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds.
But mighty to the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds. Okay, so Esau being moved out of the way isn't necessarily going to be a carnal thing, even though ultimately it's going to be manifested physically by way of World War III. All right, for those of you in the know, okay, who have eyes to see. But the beginning stages of this fight is going to be spiritual. The Lord's going to take this man down by the Spirit. Give me that real quick in Bell and the Dragon. All right, hey, what we witnessing is a beautiful piece of work, man. All right, the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah taking down what might seem to be a powerhouse, a dynasty, by something as subtle as the word. Go ahead.
This is the book of Bell and the Dragon, verse 26. It says, but give me leave, O king, and I shall slay this dragon without sword or staff.
Right, so it won't be carnal, it will be spiritually. And the sword spiritually would be this word. Okay? Yeah, you got some?
Yeah,
Give me that,
Ephesians.
That's it.
Chapter 6. Get it real quick.
You got something? You got something?
Yeah, I had some. This is matter of fact, Salaki.
What'd you look for? Oh, towards the Spirit.
This is the book of
Well, real quick, let's get this.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is the book of Ephesians 6.
17.
Yeah, Ephesians 6 and 17. It said, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit.
Yeah, in the sword of the Spirit. Give me Proverbs 18 and 14.
Finish it off. It says, which is the word of the Most High.
Yeah, which is the word of the Most High. All right. Yeah, we was gonna get back to it. Yeah. I want to get this real quick. Go ahead.
Proverbs 18 and 14. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity.
See, the spirit of a man will sustain his infirmities. Go ahead.
But
go ahead.
A wounded spirit.
But a wounded spirit. Go ahead.
Who can bear?
Who can bear? So how is the spirit wounded? Let's read this again.
Yeah, this is Ephesians 6 and 17. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit.
And the sword of the Spirit. So Esau is cut. Esau is wounded by this word. All right. Which we can get that in Hebrew. What it's you got it?
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, go ahead. You got it.
On Hebrews 4 and 12. For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful.
Yep. So this word is what's quick and what's powerful. Why? Because it's a decree. Matter of fact, you give me that with one rough word. Because, hey, all Yahweh Shema Shai to do is speak it into existence. He has the jurisdiction, man. Get that real quick. Let's get that real quick in Ecclesiastes 10 and 4. Let's get that before we move further. Go ahead.
It says for the word.
Ecclesiastes 10 and 4.
This Ecclesiastes 10 and 4. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord.
Right. So those who are in power is in the hand of the Lord. It's Yahweh Shema Shai who controls the destiny of men. He shaped and fashioned and mold who would be in power. That's what the scripture is saying when it said the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord. Meaning it's the Lord who has control over who's in power. Go ahead.
And in due time, he will set over it one that is profitable.
Yeah, so in due time, the Lord is going to set up one that's profitable, which that goes into Yahweh Shai. In the next regime, if you will, that's set to rule and govern over the planet Earth and beyond. All right, so let's go back up.
Hebrews 4 and verse 12. For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful.
Yep, so read that again.
It says, for the word of the Most High is quick and powerful.
And what makes the word of the Most High quick and powerful? Because it's a decree. Hold that and give me what you got.
Wisdom Solomon 12 and 9. Not that thou was unable to bring the ungodly under the hand of the righteous in battle.
Yep, so the Lord could have easily brought Esau down under us in battle. Right? The Lord could have raised us up, put the spirit on us to engage in battle with this man. The Lord would have took him down. But that's not what's according to biblical prophecy. Yahweh Shai will come and overthrow this man. See? Go ahead.
or to destroy them at once with cruel beasts, or with one rough word.
Or with what?
One rough word.
With one rough word. See that? So this decree itself has signified the fall of Esau. So that's why even the mere fact that you see us pushing forth this word, that proves that Esau out of here, man. Hey, we mentioned that briefly at camp, how before the Lord eventually, with a powerful stretched forth arm, delivered us out of Egypt. Well, before that happened, all of a sudden Moses and Aaron popped up, man.
Right.
There was the prophets. The Lord sent them forth. That was the chronological order, if you will. They was coming forth with a decree, all right, decreeing and declaring that the ancient Egyptians would be overtaken, man. All right. So yeah, let's finish that up.
It says, for the word of the Most High is quick and powerful, and sharper than any two-edged sword.
Yep.
Piercing even to the dividing asunder.
See, go ahead.
Of soul and spirit.
Of soul and spirit. See, that's why we just read a wounded spirit who can bear. All right. Go ahead.
And of the joints and marrow, in marrow, Salakia. It says, and of the joints and marrow, and it's a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
Now, what does it mean when it says this word is a discerner of the intents and heart? That means we actually are tapped in to the secret counsel of the wicked. That's what it means when it says don't mean, you say I can tell you finna go to Dairy Queen or something.
Read your mind.
Yeah, I can read your mind. Oh, I know where you finna go. Let me get a precept. No, this word when it says a discerner of the thoughts and intents and purposes of the heart, that's dealing with the secret counsel of the wicked. All right. Hey, and that's Elisha. Scripture speaks about that with Elisha. How it said he knew what the king was saying in his bed chambers, meaning in his secret counsel. So that's what this word it serves purpose for, to enlighten. All right, to shed light on the things that's in the dark. So now we know about your diabolical plans. We know about your legislations and laws in play to wage war against the children of Israel. Yahweh Shema Shai gave us the luxury of tapping into your most intimate plans and plots and schemes and strategies, man. All right, come on. I'm on one real quick, then we'll get around.
It's on Jeremiah 23 and 29. It's not my word like as fire, except the Lord.
Yep, see that? So this is how the Lord chose to begin to take down Esau, by way of his word, first and foremost. If you have faith as the size of a mustard seed, you will say unto this mountain,
right,
move hence into where? The sea, which is that lake of fire when you go into it. Right. So if your prophecy is the destruction of America, the Lord is going to make good on it. Any other prophecy besides that is not going to happen. Okay, go ahead.
And like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces.
So this word is not only like a fire, but it's also like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces. In this case, the rock would be America, the foundation of the nations. Esau, pretty much Esau's throne. And that's what happened when you go into the Tower of Babel, if you will. When you go into that word scatter in Genesis, I believe that's the 11th chapter, where the Lord scattered them. That word scatter goes into break. So that's what the Lord is doing. It's again, you got to go back. It's two extremes. Either you're gathered or you scattered. Where was at the forefront of us being cast down and brought low? We were scattered. The Lord said, I will scatter you. But now we're in a time of what? The gathering. So now while we being gathered, the Lord is actually breaking up and scattering Esau. The house of David is under construction, and Esau and his whole system is in destruction mode. Okay? And that's the works of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right? That was it what you had up?
But I'm going to get one more.
All right, go ahead.
That's Isaiah 14:5. The Lord have broken the staff of the wicked.
Yep.
And the scepter of the rulers.
Yep, yeah. That's dealing with Esau. And how is the Lord breaking it up? It starts with the word going forth, first and foremost. See that? And eventually the Lord, when you read Joel, the second chapter, the Lord said he will utter his voice before his arm. So the decree has to go forth, then the judgment come down. All right? So yeah, you got it. Yeah,
this is our second Maccabees, chapter 15 and verse 15, Whereupon Jeremiah, holding forth his right hand, gave to Judas a sword of gold.
Yep, a sword of gold. Go ahead.
And in giving it spake thus.
Uh-huh.
Take this holy sword.
Take this holy sword. See, go ahead.
A gift from the Most High.
Uh-huh.
With the which thou shalt wound the adversary.
See that? And we just read in the Revelation, it's like it, Proverbs, the 18th chapter, where a wounded spirit who can bear. So how is a spirit wounded? Again, through a spiritual sword. See that? So this is how the Lord chose to wound the adversary before physically he manifests that wound in the form of the judgment. See that?
I guess going back to that spiritual cut. This is at Psalm 54. When they heard these things, they were cut to the heart.
Yep, see? So you can be cut by way of hearing this word. Hey, that's why, give me real quick the deaf adder stopping his ears. Give me that dreadful sound too. Because this is the worst. Hey, this is the worst case scenario for Esau. The fact that the word will be brought forth. Why? Because this word, the doctrine of Yahweh Shema Shah, actually trumps everything that Esau has laid out. See? Yep, go ahead.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 58, and verse 4. It said, their poison is the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear.
Yep, they're like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear. Yep, go ahead.
Which will now hearken.
And that's why the scriptures say, when they heard these things, they was cut to the heart. Man. So Esau like, fuck it, I don't even want to hear it. And that's why you see this campaign of YouTube guidelines, monitoring videos. And their assessment is, you know what? You violated. You violating God. Which, when that came up, when all of a sudden on the fly, there's YouTube guidelines. We don't know who wrote them. Hey, that's Esau bullshit. Just like when they came to the natives. Just pulled out a piece of paper. There's no signet. I mean, that's Esau, man. Go ahead.
It said their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear, which will now hearken to the voice of charmers.
Which will now hearken, see, to what?
To the voice of charmers.
To the voice of charmers. So Esau is not going to hearken. No matter how much we present, and our presentation is based upon the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shema Shah when we tell you homosexuality is off. We don't just say that because, no, we say it because we can go to Leviticus, the 20th chapter and the 13th verse, for an example. All right, as somewhat of a gauge or a measuring stick to show how you going off. But what they do, they stop up their ears. They don't hearken to these charms. And we charming ever so wisely. Because why? We breaking the scriptures down according to the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah. Right? Go ahead.
It said, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charmer never so wisely.
Yep. So give me that. Yep, you got that? Go ahead.
This is Job 15:21. A dreadful sound is in his ear.
Yeah, a dreadful sound is in his ear. So this is why the so-called white man is not willing to yield or hearken to this sound, because it's actually dreadful. The scriptures tell you that to him, it's dreadful to him. That's why the scriptures say we are an aroma, a sweet aroma to those who are saved, but to those who are destroyed. So what Esau is, this would be not so pleasant. This is not pleasing on the ears to you, man. See, because we actually speaking against you, fulfilling Ezekiel, the 35th chapter, in the first verse, prophesy against Mount Seir. See, go ahead up.
It says, Job 15:21, a dreadful sound is in his ears. In prosperity, the destroyer shall come upon him.
Yep. So at this man at his peak, right, when he's on the top, that's when the Lord's going to bring forth that destruction. And we in that time. All right, go ahead up.
This is
you got to get up.
First Maccabees 5:66. Wherefore, when the enemies of the tribe of Judah and Benjamin heard it, they came to know what the noise of the trumpet should mean.
Right. So now you have people, they're inquiring about this word going forth. What does this noise of this trumpet mean? All right. Go ahead.
Verse 67. And they perceived that they that were of the captivity did build a temple unto the Lord.
Yes, and that's the perception. All right. Now, those who are in the captivity, those of us who have been taken by this man, we're now beginning to build that temple. And that's the third temple that a lot of these biblical scholars and historians is waiting on physically to be erected. But right up under your nose, Yahweh Shema Shah is building that secret, that spiritual temple, man, which signifies the return of Yahweh Shah. Go ahead, Al.
Oh, that was it on it.
That was it? All right, come on.
Yeah,
I thought you had something else. All right, go ahead.
Jeremiah 50:43 said, "The king of Babylon have heard the report of them,
Mm-hmm.
and his hands wax feeble."
Yeah, woo! Hey, well, hey, all kind of precepts coming on. Revelation the 11th chapter. All right, we stood upon our feet, a great army, and great fear fell upon them that saw us, man. So now their hands is waxing feeble. You know what that remind me of too? Isaiah, is that Isaiah I want to say the 24th chapter?
I'm talking about language.
Yeah, they should language, the 4th and 5th verse or something like that. We go into the word language, it means they're gonna droop. That means you just lose all strength. Go ahead, Doc.
It says, "In anguish took hold of him."
Yeah, read it again.
Yeah, Jeremiah 50:43. "The king of Babylon that have heard the report of them,
Mm-hmm.
and his hands waxed feeble."
Yep.
His anguish took hold of him, and as pangs of a woman in travail.
Yep. So that's intense. You know, that's intense right there. That's dramatic. All right, but this man, what was the source of it? This man waxing pair feeble. He heard the report. He heard the report that we was being raised up and we was once again building that fortress, man. Okay, the temple. All right, go ahead.
Because Wisdom of Solomon 2 in verse 14, it says he was made to reprove our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
He is grievous unto us even to behold.
Right, and who is, well, when you read this right here, right, through spiritual lenses, you will see that that's dealing with Esau. And what we read is what this man is reasoning amongst himself, which they have these different secret meetings, secret councils, and they come to the conclusion that, hold up, this man pushing forth this word is grievous. And they actually beholding us. Read that one more time. Somebody get Psalms 23. Go ahead.
It says he was made to reprove our thoughts.
And that's dealing with the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, starting with the prophets. Right, the men of the Lord was fashioned and designed to reprove the thoughts of Esau, which goes back to what? Prophesying against Mount Seir. See, we're not just speaking randomly. We telling your ass straight up who we talking to, man. We talking to you, Esau. All right, go ahead, Doc.
It says he is grievous unto us even to behold.
So the so-called white man stormed these bankers. They came to the conclusion, look, these guys are grievous even for us to behold. That's why they're trying to get us off of YouTube. See, and off the streets. Go ahead.
It says for his life is not like other men.
Right, we are not built like other men. Which goes back into we can't be bribed. You can't pay us off. You can't give us that bad. See, go ahead.
It says his ways are of another fashion.
Go ahead.
We are esteemed of him as counterfeits.
Right, and that's how we look at the so-called white man as counterfeits. You imposters, man. Especially you gutter rats over there in our land. Right, go ahead.
It says he abstaineth from my ways.
Yeah, we do abstain from the ways of the so-called white man. Meaning we are not willing to make an alliance with you. We no longer put our stay into Esau, but now we put our trust into the Holy One of Israel. Go ahead.
It says he abstaineth from my ways as from filthiness.
Yeah, that's how we view you devils, as being filthy and everything you package and present to us, man. All right, from your legislations, your laws, your rhetoric, down to your trends, to your fagos and funyuns for that matter. We abstain from all that. Go ahead.
It says he pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed.
Yeah, that's the message. We prophesied through the spirit of power, Yahweh Shema Shah, that at the end of this thing, when the smoke cleared and the dust settled, the righteous will be blessed, the elect of the nation of Israel. Go ahead.
It says, and maketh his boast.
Yeah, we boast. Go ahead.
That the Most High is his father.
That's what we have come into. All right. Whereas in times past, we aligned and associated ourselves with being so-called Negroes, Latinos, Puerto Ricans, so-called, and Jamaicans, and Guatemalans, and Haitians, and so on and so forth. Now, we make our claim that we are of the tribe of Judah, Levi, Benjamin, all right, Issachar, right, and so on and so forth, Reuben, Gad. So that's us boasting that we are the children of the Most High, okay? Which that goes into, I believe, Hosea, the first chapter, in the land where they was said to not be the sons of the Most High, in that very land we would declare that fact that we are indeed the children of the Most High. Okay? Right? Come on, you got something?
God, this is St. John 16:33. These things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace.
Oh. It says in me you might have peace. What's that going into, man? Let's say if you have someone who sincerely wants to know. These pastors and preachers can't give you the answer. They don't just give you some, I remember your grandma, she was a faithful member of this church. Now, you work on your emotions, you start crying. No, man, when it says in me, you may have peace, that's dealing with this doctrine, man. All right, being in, matter of fact, give me St. John 15. I think it's around the 3rd or 4th verse or 5th. You got something?
I have
Oh, yeah, that? Or the Spirit, go ahead.
This St. John 15 in verse 3. It says, now you are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you.
So we're clean through the word. Go ahead.
It says, abide in me.
See, abide in me. Read that what you got again real quick, y'all.
St. John 16:33. These things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace.
That in me ye might have peace. Go ahead. Now come on back where you at up.
Come on. It says, abide in me, and I in you, as the branch cannot bear.
It said abide in me and I in you. So if you abide in these teachings, then that means the teachings is in you. Simple as that. See that? Go ahead.
As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine, no more can ye, except ye abide in me.
Right. So you can do nothing unless you abide in the vine. Right. Would you look up that word vine just out of curiosity? Let's see what's up with that. Yep. All right, come on, y'all. Stop while you getting there.
St. John 16:33 again. It says, "These things I have spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace."
Right. So this is where our peace come from. Okay. That's why when you read Romans the 15th chapter, it says the things written aforetime was written for our learning, that we through the patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. That cancels out and eliminates anything external. That proves that solely our hope will be based upon the things written in the scriptures, which goes back to Yahweh Shai. I am the truth, I am the light. See that? Yeah, come on.
Says,
real quick before you go, we got the definition. Did it give you something?
Because it just said a vine, then it says as calling about a support.
Oh, support. Okay, come on. Which that if you go to the strong definition, see if it gives you any words down there or something, see the strong definition. Where it says support, which a vine is pretty much interchangeable with like a vein. It's that highway, it brings life. Did it give you something?
No, that was
okay.
strong. No.
Oh, that was strong?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Got it. Yep, go ahead. Hey, when you go in there, Blue Letter 2, you go to that desktop, see what it give you.
Okay, cool.
Because that app, they don't give you the fullness of it. Yep, go ahead.
It says that in me ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation.
Yeah, in the world you're going to have tribulation, right? Meaning in this physical realm. Matter of fact, somebody hold Romans, I want to say 8 and start at like 3. Go ahead.
It says, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world.
Yep. Yeah, so in the world you're going to have tribulation, but in this truth you're going to have peace. So again, that goes back full circle to the two extremes. All right, the physical realm, the worldly perspective versus the spirit, and those are two resistance. Those are two opposing forces. All right, go ahead.
Romans 8:3. For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh.
Yeah, see that? They go. The flesh, that all goes into the world. The flesh, when you come across the word flesh, they have everything to do with the world. They have everything to do with Esau and his current system. Right? Go ahead.
It said the Most High sending his own son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin condemned sin in the flesh.
Yeah, go ahead.
That the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us who walk not after the flesh.
Right, who walk not after the flesh. Go ahead.
But after the spirit.
But after the spirit. It all narrows down to these two extremes. Either you viewing things through the spiritual lenses or carnal. And it's heavy because when you adjust your lens, it's so volatile. One twist, and you can shift to the physical realm. Go ahead, huh?
So real quick.
Uh-huh.
This St. Matthew 26 and 41. Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation.
Uh-huh. Yep, go ahead.
The spirit indeed is willing,
Yep.
but the flesh is weak.
But the flesh is weak. See that? And those are two opposing forces again. So the flesh profits nothing. It's weak. It has no substance. You have to be in the spirit to please Yahweh Shemashah. Y'all got some definition? You got a definition? Oh, talking about Ark had something? Okay, come on. Yeah. I saw that. The vine is our lifeline. Yep, that's it. Because the vine produces it produces fruit. You know? Yep, go ahead.
God, back Romans chapter 8 and verse 5, it says, for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh.
Right, so if you're of the flesh, you're going to move in the flesh. You're going to mind the things of the flesh, which really goes back to Esau, will go back to this world. Okay? Go ahead.
It says, for they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit.
Yep, so if you're in the spirit, you're going to mind the things of the spirit. Okay, go ahead.
For to be carnally minded.
See, and it all goes back to, like you say, a thought. To be carnally minded, see, go ahead.
For to be carnally minded is death.
Yeah, so it starts with a thought. But to be carnally minded leads to death. Go ahead.
But to be spiritually minded.
Yep, but to be spiritually invested, to have somewhat of an analytical mind, those of you who can digest the teachings of Yahweh Shah, that's one who's spiritually minded. Go ahead.
Is life and peace.
Is what?
Life and peace.
Like the brother just said, in me, you shall have peace. See, so this brings life and peace. Matter of fact, continue.
It says, because the carnal mind.
Because the carnal mind, this goes all the way back to Esau. That's why his blessing was a physical blessing. See, Esau's blessing, it has to be performed in the physical realm. Esau can't pray you away, you know. See what I'm saying? Esau not going to pray for, he's not going to pray, he ain't going to have a spiritual approach for rulership. Esau going to put those missiles on. Well, the Apostle Har mentioned it. That sword, he said those needles is swords. And that's heavy. A little bit of knives. That's so cold, man. Those necks. You got to be careful too, man. Esau watching. Esau plotting, man. Psalm 37 chapter. But that little needle, that's a cut. That's a sword. It ranges from that little needle all the way to an ICBM missile. That's the sword of Esau. So he's the carnal minded. It physically, he's never going to sit down and pray and fast for Yahweh Shah, you know, to establish him. No, he said, you know what? We're going to set this up. Real quick, go all the way to the humble beginnings. Go back to the book of Genesis. Yep.
This is Genesis, the 4th chapter.
Oh, no. Salakia, 27, Salakia.
Oh, you talking about?
Uh-huh.
I got you.
Yep, 27.
Yeah.
I started, I think, I want to say 41 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, this is the book of Genesis chapter 27. And 4, I started at verse 40. It says, and by thy sword shalt thou live.
There it is. By thy sword thou shalt live. Now, the reason why I want to get that because I want you to go to Hebrews.
Okay, come on.
Let's show the two contrasts. That's the thing. See, we instigating here, man. We stirring shit up. I'm gonna just tell you straight up. We promote a war here. Fuck you thought we were gonna do, man.
Right.
Thought we was gonna come here tonight, you know, tell you everything's gonna be all right. No, we instigating war. We're gonna prove the fact that there's two entities here that can't coexist with one another. So one will have to overthrow the other. So real quick, before you read that, read this again.
God, this is the book of Genesis 27 and 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live.
So the scriptures say Esau will live by his sword. Now let's get what you got right here.
What is it? Hebrew?
11.
God, yeah, this is the book of Hebrews 11.
Mm-hmm. He said in it.
The just shall live by faith.
I thought it was right there.
I know that's
Read that again.
All right, yeah, this is Genesis 27:40. It says, and by thy sword shalt thou live.
Yep. So this is concerning who? Esau.
Mm-hmm.
Salaki, I was quoting the wrong one. Give me Romans 1.
Oh, that faith.
That's like it.
One in like 18.
Faith to faith, you get that too. What is this? Yep, give me that one too. All right, go ahead.
This Romans 1 and 18.
So we're gonna read the two contrasts. We're gonna see what they can't mesh. One more time, let's read this again. Because it's gonna talk about the two instincts. See, every creature has an instinct of survival. So we're gonna see what Esau gonna live by. To live means this is what you're gonna survive by, right? Go ahead.
So this Genesis 27:40, it says, and by thy sword shalt thou live.
So this dealing with Esau. He's gonna live by his sword, which is carnality. So give me what you got.
Romans 1 and 17. For therein is the righteousness of the Most High revealed from faith to faith.
Yep, from faith to faith. Meaning you're gonna grow in the faith. You know, you believe in the first beginning stages, then the next level you have to believe to advance. Go ahead.
As it is written, the just shall live by faith.
So hold up. Right here we just read what Esau's going to live by his sword, but the scriptures say the just shall live by faith, man. See those two extremes right there. See that? So that proved that this is a war. These two entities can never come together, man. Because one is going to live by his sword, by carnality, and the other is going to live by faith, and that goes into spirituality, man. That's why faith was counted as righteousness to who's that? Was that Abraham?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Give me what you got.
Real quick, just that word live in that Romans 1.
Mm-hmm.
Just get to the point. It says, in the manner of living and acting.
Ooh, in the manner of living and acting. See that? You more on that?
Yeah, that was pretty much it on that for real.
Yeah, cause so your survival consists of what? If you Esau, the sword. All right, but if you are the righteous amongst Israel, then your survival, your living is going to be based upon faith, man. And those are the two extremes right there. See that? So that's why the scriptures say to be carnally minded is enmity with the Most High. See? So Esau can never come into the graces of Yahweh by Shema. All right? Yep. You got something up?
You can. This is 1 John chapter 5. I'm going to start at 3. It says, for this, the love of the Most High, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. For whatsoever is born of the Most High overcometh the world. And this is the victory that
well, we was born of the Most High in the spirit. Because, when we came into this thing, you heard this word, you was reformed. You was actually born again. All right? Go ahead.
It says, verse 4, 1 John 5 and 4. World, even our faith.
Even our faith. So faith is a direct contrast with carnality, because to be carnal, you can see what's in front of you. You have to see, you can put your hand on it. But faith is the total opposite, and that's in Hebrews, the 11th chapter, I think the first verse. Go ahead.
God, this Hebrews 11 in verse 33. It says, who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness.
Yep. So through faith, this kingdom is going to be subdued. All right. Which Esau approach is to subdue through the sword. That's why the only way this man can rationalize things out is through violence, man. All right. That's why depopulation goes hand in hand with Esau's agenda, man. This man, in order for him to create a new world, he had to kill you off. Go ahead.
It says, who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtain promises, stop the mouths of lions.
Yep.
It says, quench the violence of fire, escape the edge of the sword, out of weakness was made strong, wax violent.
Bad, yeah. Out of weakness was made strong. That's 1 Corinthians, the 1st chapter. So through faith, we're going to be, upgraded, man. All right, scripture talk about that doctrine of life. You can get that real quick. Well,
it says, wax valiant and fight, turn the flight of armies of the aliens.
Yep, read that part again. I ain't hear.
It says, out of weakness were made strong, wax valiant in fight, turn to flight the armies of the aliens.
Yep. The foreigners. So through faith, yeah. Hey, the Lord set it up where it required faith for you to overcome. All right, it wasn't nothing tangible, and that applies to this very day. We're not looking for anything carnal to get us over the hump, man. We understand when the Lord allowed this devil to come in like a flood. Well, it tells you that in Isaiah the 59th chapter, how the Lord will set up a standard, which will be a way to escape. All this is based upon faith. That takes everything out of your hand. It didn't say, I'm going to give you a sharp mind. You're going to come up with a plan. No, it says that the Lord himself will step in and fight on my behalf, man. And it requires faith. That's why the scriptures say, sit still and know that I am Yahweh. All right, go ahead.
This is the book Ecclesiastes, Sirach 19:19. The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life.
See, it is the doctrine of life, man. See that? So by faith, we're going to overcome. By doctrine, you see that? This is what's going to give us life. Versus Esau, in his approach, scratching cloth, tooth, and nail, okay? And leaning solely toward his blessing, which is the sword. Go ahead.
It says the knowledge of the commandments of the Lord, Yahweh Shah, is the doctrine of life, and they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality.
Yeah, and the fruit of the tree, the fruit is this understanding. All right? So we digest this fruit, and it leads to what? Immortality, man. See that? So faith in the spirit is what leads to life, not carnality. And that's why we read that in Romans, the 8th chapter. The carnal mind is enmity with the Most High versus the spiritual mind. All right?
Got some.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's 3 John 1:11. It says, beloved, follow that which is evil. It says, follow not that which is evil, but that which is good.
Yeah, and you see the common thread there. There's two extremes. So we know that Esau being in power must represent the evil, man. Meaning whatever this man presents to you, you are not to follow. It will behoove you to shun it, to abhor it, avoid it altogether, man. See, go ahead.
It said, he that doeth good is of the Most High, but he that doeth evil have not seen Yahweh Shah.
Yep, come on. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, that's dealing with this understanding. All right, you don't see it, you don't get it. See that? Yeah, go ahead. You got something? Yeah, you have something on the way?
Did y'all bring out John 6:63 yet?
No, I can't. You bring it up.
This John 6:63. It is the spirit that quickeneth.
That's it.
The flesh profiteth nothing.
See that? Again, there you have the two main contrasting spirits, the two resistant spirits. Oppositional forces, man. The spirit and the flesh. Read that again, huh?
John 6:63. It is the spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profiteth nothing.
The flesh profiteth nothing. Go ahead, Slacky.
The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life.
Which goes into the doctrine of life, what we just read. So these words that the Lord is speaking unto you, that's what leads to life. And that's what's going to trump Esau, man. This is what's going to overcome Esau, the so-called white man. You got more over there? Give me somebody give Wisdom of Solomon 10 and 10.
I got it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Wisdom of Solomon 10 and 10 said, when the righteous fled from his brother's wrath.
Right, in his brother's wrath, then Esau, when would this be played out? When would that precept pretty much be fulfilled? Give me Revelation, the 12th chapter, in the 12th verse. All right, it says, when the righteous fled from his brother's wrath. Go ahead, give me what you got.
Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them.
Go ahead.
Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath.
See, for the devil is coming down until you having great wrath. Go ahead.
Because he knoweth that he have but a short time.
Right. So the so-called white man is ultimately going to become more and more desperate, and eventually he's going to revert to his main attribute. Right now, you see those two attributes at work. All right, the deception form of it, but eventually you're going to see the sword. See that? So it said the devil's going to come down with great wrath, knowing that they have but a short time. Why? Because this man is in straits. You see him trying to get his agenda rolling, all right, bringing his new world order, and he's being met with a lot of resistance, man. See that? So yeah, come on, let's go back to where you at.
Yeah, it says she gathered him and
Read it again from top.
He says, when the righteous fled from his brother's wrath.
See, when the righteous fled from his brother's wrath. All right? So that brother would be Esau. Again, it goes back to Jacob and Esau, those two extremes. Go ahead.
It says she guided him in right paths.
She guided him, which is going back to this understanding, man. All right, which all comes under the banner of being in the spirit. See? Go ahead.
Showed him the kingdom of the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
And gave him knowledge of holy things.
Yep, and gave him knowledge of holy things. Go ahead.
And made him rich in his travels.
Uh-huh.
And multiplied the fruit of his labor.
And that's heavy that travels goes into that path. Which that path is dealing with these different doctrines that you might embark on, which we found that one path, that narrow path, if you will, that leads to eternal life. Now, it remains to be seen, we pray that Yahweh shall keep us on this path. Nevertheless, we have found it. All right? But what's the point here? We have sided with righteousness. See, there's two extremes. Again, you can't stress that enough, man. There's no in between. Hey, if you don't believe in what we pushing for, then that means that you're on the other side. Yahweh made that statement. He that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad. He that is not with me is against me. Hey, that's the reasoning of a warrior. Right, a warrior kicking in your door. He ain't got time to ask who's who, man. He's coming in there who all is not covered with the covering of Yahweh. They're going to be put to death, man. And that's outlined in the book of Ezekiel, the 9th chapter. All right? You got something?
Yeah, real quick.
You're going to work around. Go ahead.
Going back to that covering, the spiritual covering, just a second, Esdras 2, I started at 38. It says, arise up and stand, behold the number of those that be sealed in the peace of the Lord, which are departed from the shadow of the world.
See that? Have departed from the shadow of the world, which is going to where the misinformation that's on display here. Okay, we departed from that. The information that clouds your judgment, it's a veil over you. Okay, everything is distorted, man. Go ahead.
And have received glorious garments of the Lord.
Oh, what's the glorious garments? It's true. We received it, meaning we believed on it. See that? Which goes into ultimately you being covered. And it's like this. You consider, and let's say you ain't even got to know the nuances of a particular sport. I bet you know those two teams are opposing forces based upon their uniforms. That's the same with Yahweh and Yahweh. See, when you take on, matter of fact, give me that in Isaiah the 30th chapter. We get ready to close up in a minute. But in the spirit, hey, even in war, it ain't got to be sports. You have different uniforms to decipher who's who. See that? So when the scriptures say we have received glorious garments, that's pretty much a uniform. See, when those death angels is loose, man, they're gonna see whoever have not that covering, they're gonna put your ass to death. All right, go ahead.
Isaiah 31, woe to the rebellious children, said the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me.
Yeah, which is dealing with whatever doctrine you subscribe to. Go ahead.
And that cover.
And with who what?
And that cover.
And that cover. See, go ahead.
With the covering, but not of my spirit.
See that? So you put on your uniform, right? But that uniform is not the covering of Yahweh. So by then, right then, you're an enemy. If I get on a uniform, I play for a particular team, I ain't got to stop and ask your name. I'm going to tackle your ass when I see you. I don't know who you are, man. It's based upon the uniform. That's why the Lord said they take covering, but not of my spirit. So that's why, matter of fact, you got more on this? Go to Ezekiel. You can't read that without going to Ezekiel. You got something?
Yeah, I got something.
Go ahead.
This is Romans 13 and 12. So like I'm starting at 11. Romans 13 and 11.
Mm-hmm.
And that, knowing the time that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe.
Mm-hmm.
The night is far spent.
Mm-hmm.
The day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness.
Yep.
And let us put on
Let us put on the what?
Armor of light.
The armor of light. Those are the two uniforms. Motherfuckers got darkness on this uniform, and we got light on this one. That's what it meant. It said put on the armor of light, man. All right. Matter of fact, give what you got.
Con, this is Ezekiel.
It's critical for you to be under the shadow, the covering, the shelter of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right? Because this is the only thing that's going to preserve you in that time. Go ahead, give me what you got real quick.
Let me get it real quick. Job 29 and 14 says, I put on righteousness and it clothed me.
Yeah, see, I put on righteousness and it clothed me. Which it's a scripture in Apocrypha, I forget where it's at, where it talk about putting on the double cloak or something, a double garment. Right? So that means you actually putting on. Matter of fact, real quick, since you got that, I believe I want to say it's that Colossians 3 and 12. Get that real quick. Colossians 3 and 12. Did you find it? You look for it.
Yeah, I got that.
What you got?
Yeah,
double garment. Oh, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
Hey, give me what you got real quick.
That's it, same thing.
What you got? The double garment? Okay, come. Give me Colossians 3 and 12.
Colossians 3 and 12. Put on therefore as the
See,
elect.
put on therefore as the elect. Meaning now you're going to mimic what the elect will do. And it tells you, the scripture speaks about that. Be ye followers of me, even as I am of Yahweh. Mark the perfect man, because the end of that man is peace. So you put on as the elect, right? The things that the elect will do, you mimic that. You pattern yourself after that. You want to be the next, great rapper, or let's say you want to be the next great basketball player. Well, you got to have footage on that guy.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be the next Kobe. You can't say, well, who is Kobe? What was I want to be the next Kobe? Now as who is Kobe? So I could be. No, man. You got to have the footage. Well, guess what? We got the footage. We know how to pattern ourselves. But we putting on. Read that again.
Colossians 3 and 12. Put on therefore as the elect of the Most High.
Yeah, go ahead.
Holy and beloved.
Go ahead, read.
Holy and beloved.
Yeah, holy meaning separated. Go ahead.
Bowels of mercy.
Bowels of mercy, which goes into pushing forth this truth. This is the ultimate act of mercy right here. Which also, obviously, you're supposed to show mercy. That's in Matthew, the 23rd chapter, the 23rd verse, where Yahweh Shai said, you omit the weightier things of the law, such as mercy. See, go ahead.
Kindness.
Kindness, this is kindness.
That's right. That is fineness.
Yeah, this is kindness. See, Jake's simple. They'll read that and think, they'll view it, they'll say, no, I'm rude, and I'm giving you the truth. But then a guy who said, how you doing? But he got your debit card information.
That's one of the characteristics of wisdom, kindness.
Yeah.
You know, the wisdom something sound.
Yeah, kindness.
Yep.
Bowels of mercy. That's really pushing his word. Yep. This is the ultimate act of kindness. Mm-hmm. I don't give a damn how you treat me. I mean, like as far as your presentation, you, hi sir, and you kind. That's not going to trump this information right here that leads to life. Go ahead, up.
Kindness, humbleness.
Humbleness, go ahead. And that's, yep, go ahead.
Humbleness.
So, see, I was just going to say that. When you read what, Sirach 26, you have one that appear humble. You got that?
Right.
I think it's 26 and 19. Yeah. See, this is a battle of the minds, man. You have a guy walk up, hi, sir. But all the time, he a nigga.
He got an ulterior motive.
He got an ulterior motive. Matter of fact, it's 19 and 26.
Yeah, this is Ecclesiastes Sirach 19:26. There is a wicked man that bowed down slightly.
See, read this again. So you can't get nothing over on the man of the Lord through the Spirit. Just because you come up, you have a humble approach. We're gonna look at you sideways, man. Because you humble in the Western sense. Hey, if you that slow, I'll just run circles around you. If you just okay, yeah, that's your perception of humble. I'll be. What city you in? I'll be there. Get your checkbook. I'm gonna run circles around you because you thought that humility was. No, man. Scripture, you got to be humble in the mind. All right. A form of humility is being able to yield to others.
Right.
That's a stumbling block for Jake. Jake don't want to hear you telling them no, put down the foot and pull your pants up. Jacob, up the strap on you.
Please
tell Jake pull your pants up. I bet Al come out here and tell one of these Jake to pull up their pants. They gonna pull out a strap, man. The 40 is coming out.
What is skin in the 40?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Sirach, Ecclesiastes 19-26. There is a wicked man that hangeth down his head, sadly.
Yep.
But inwardly,
yeah,
he is full of deceit.
Yeah, see, that's you have a guy that come around with his head hanging sadly, but inwardly he's full of deceit, man. And he ran circles around you because you was carnal. You looked at the outer man. No, the scripture speaks about being humble in the mind. Read that again.
It's Colossians 3:12. Put on therefore as the elect.
Yeah, you put on that uniform, right? Go ahead.
As the elect of the Most High, holy and beloved.
Go ahead.
Vows of mercy, kindness, humbleness of mind.
Humbleness of mind, meaning you are being willing to be taught. Okay, you are willing to yield to someone instructing you. That's humbleness of mind. You got something?
Yeah, Con. This is the book Ecclesiastes Sirach 6. I start at 32. It says, "My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught."
If thou wilt, right? Go ahead.
Thou shalt be taught.
Thou shalt be taught. That proves that the dynamic of a nigga will be around. You know what I mean? You had to convince. I mean, see what I'm saying? Okay. Because a nigga don't want to be taught. And he'll buck up against you, man. He'll get emotional. Like I said, that's the challenge. You go tell one of these niggas to pull up your pants. Hey, man, you can say it nice as you want. Hey, boy, pull up. Please pull up your pants. Man, nigga, he's not willing to take correction, man. Go ahead,
It said, "My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught. And if thou wilt apply thy mind."
See, humbleness of mind. Go ahead.
"Thou shalt be prudent."
Yep, go ahead.
"If thou love to hear."
If you love to hear, go ahead.
"Thou shalt receive understanding." "And if thou bow thine ear."
If thou humble, see, when you bow your ear, that don't mean I'm you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I'm ear hustling you. You read and I bow my ear to you. No, man, to bow your ear means to humble yourself. Okay? Be willing to receive every godly discourse. And that has proven to be a challenge to Israel. See, they see us and we don't come across, with the accolades.
Right.
We don't have the big words, you know what I mean? Or the eloquent approach. You come to the podium with the papers. We just bring it out raw, man. Right? But that's proven to be a stumbling block. So Jake not willing to bow their ear to us because we really represent what they go through. That's the snag. See, we represent. I'm gonna listen to you and I know the police are gonna pull you over too. Yeah, go ahead. But you gotta be willing to bow down. The Lord set it up. That was beautiful. The Lord could have easily set us up with power. Right. You be like, oh yeah, these men. Let's follow these men. Right. But we don't have any strength in our hand either. So Jake not willing to follow us or listen to us or bow their ear in this case. Go ahead.
It said, "If thou bow down thine ear."
Yeah, go ahead.
And the Most High set it up like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it can be justified in the time of salvation. You won't receive salvation. He put that pride in you. What it said, the deceived and deceived are his.
Yeah. And two, it proves the sincerity of one. Let's just say if you have a relationship with a woman, you don't have a car, you're on a bike. Well, if that woman is with you,
that's it.
And certainly she with you because of you.
That's it.
But if you flood her with gifts and shower her with gifts, you got rose petal, limo, scoop up, you take her to a 5-star hotel, then now it's in question if that woman is really for you.
Sincerely,
So the Lord said, look, I ain't gonna send the prophets in a mega church. Everybody come to me then. Now I'm gonna send the weak amongst you. Right. And if you cleave to those teachings, then certainly you You sincerely after me. See? You got something?
Just real quick. Yeah, this is St. Matthew 11:7. And as they departed, Yahushua began to say unto the multitudes concerning John, what went ye out to the wilderness to see? A reed shaken with the wind? But what went ye out for to see? A man clothed in soft raiment?
Right, yeah, because if you would have saw a man clothed in soft raiment, then that would have detoured you from the message. Because Jake's simple. Right, that's why you notice the way these pastors and preachers promote it is with these $5,000 tailor-made suits. Because that plays on the psyche of a simple nigga, man. And even when you go back into like the 50s and 60s, you had like what this guy, let's say for an example, Malcolm X or one of these guys. They had the people eating out of their hand just because they had a damn suit on. Now they was bringing out information, yeah, but that snared them. That boy with a suit on. You know what I mean? Jake, real talk. Jake is simple, man. So they was eating out of their hand. They was looking at it like, oh, this man must be somebody. That's why Yahushua said that. Yahushua said, look, when you went out to see John, was you expecting to see a man in soft raiment? No, because Yahushua, the way the Lord set it up, it was to bring in the sincere. Right. And to cancel out anything carnal. You know, back in 2,000 years ago, for an example, them niggas, they'll have a turtle dove in the cut. They have certain sacrifices ready. And they'll make sacrifices to the Lord. It wouldn't be based upon sincerity. Yep, you want to say something?
I got another real quick slide. This is James chapter 2:2. It said, for if there come unto you your assembly a man with a gold ring and got goodly apparel.
See, and goodly apparel. Yeah, go ahead.
And there come also a poor man in bound raiment, and ye have respect to him that weareth the gay clothing.
Yep, that's them uniforms. With that word gay going to festive. You know, like a happy doctrine. Yep. See, go ahead.
And say unto him, sit thou here in a good place.
Right. You position him, your perception of him is he's highly thought of, right? Go ahead.
And say to the poor, stand thou there.
Yeah, but you put us down, you cast us down. Pretty much you watching which one of these niggas, man? Nate or somebody. You watch somebody, you got them at the forefront, you got us in the background. No, you sit here, right? Go ahead.
It says, stand thou there or sit under my footstool.
Yep. See that? So pretty much you look at us as the scum of the earth. All right. But it's based upon, first and foremost, that initial reaction, the clothing, which, you know, that's a duality to that too, is going into the doctrine. But that shows you the simplicity of Jake. All right. Hey, motherfucker got either $5,000 suit or either he got on a bad garment. Jake could get into that too. Everybody got on purple garments with military boots and they march. You know what I'm saying? Jake will buy that shit, man. Go ahead, Doc. We're going to get what you got to do and roll around.
This is Sirach 13 in verse 23. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue.
Yep.
And look what he saith. They extolled it to the clouds.
Yep. And that's what happened, man. All right. Hey, let's just get, and I'm just going to throw this out there lightly because when you come into this, you understand what real wealth is. See, we don't look at Jay-Z and these guys as being, you know, they well off, but we know who the rich is, man. We know who the super rich, who really have wealth. But let's just say, you know, just to simplify, if Jay-Z say some shit, he came in the barbershop, or no, just around a group of Jakes. He say something, everybody gonna be quiet. They're gonna listen to this nigga, man. But if the poor, when we come out and say, "Hey, stop eating pork," then they're gonna look down. They're gonna turn the other way on your ass. Go ahead.
It says, but if the poor man speak, they say, "What fellow is this?"
Yeah, what manner of man is this? Like, who is this nigga? Yeah, go ahead.
It says, and if he stumble,
who you think you is? You know what I'm saying? Like, what man?
By what authority?
Yeah, by what authority you speak? Who you think you is, man?
Nobody.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It says, Well fellow is this, and if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him.
That's it. Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Proverbs 28 and 21. It said to have respect of person is not good.
Mm-hmm.
Before a piece of bread, that man will transgress.
Yeah, and that's what, like, let's say, these sellouts for a piece of bread, they'll go off, man.
Peace.
Peace. Well, you know that goes back to Lazarus and the rich man as well. The crumbs from the table. So even those who have millions and billions, you might perceive. I ain't gonna say billions. You got a couple of jakes, I guess, who got billions, right? But that's still the crumbs. Because somebody got to pay you off that loaf. See, we want the whole pie. We don't want no damn crumbs. You got something?
Yeah, I was gonna say as the elder apostle, hey, that's a Taha say. That's a
welfare case.
Compared to these elite.
Yeah, compared to these elite. But they got liquid money, you know, they own you to a certain extent. Like, you know. So they like, okay, nigga, get your money. They want you to blow up more. Like, okay. Because whatever you got is mine. You got something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I got one more.
I'm on real quick. Yeah, I'm on. Then we'll get to it.
It's on Ecclesiastes 9:16. Then said, "Our wisdom is better than strength.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised."
That's it. The poor man's wisdom is despised. That's why you're going to slowly see these devils bring forth these legislations. You know, we're going to be more and more demonized. Oh, the brothers were bringing out the information about. They say YouTube is coming up against
prayer for health.
Prayer for health. Okay, they already really took prayer out of school and shit like that. So the rich man's wisdom is despised. It's all a setup to try to muzzle us, to to somehow stifle this word, put a cap on what we push it for. Go ahead up.
And his words are not heard.
Yep. So you don't hearken to our words. You pretty much dismiss us. And Yahweh said that I would send you wise men and prophets, and you would, get them over pretty much to be brought to the authorities. All right, you got more? Yeah, come on. All right, go ahead.
Speaker pass on.
All right, you got something? Hey, real quick, let's since I mentioned that, let's go back to Ezekiel 9. Since we mentioned it, there was another one. Was yeah, that one. Yeah. No, I told you I gotta keep them. Keep them precepts. Like keep your hand right there. If it get overwhelming, that's it. You know what I mean? And you find yourself with all your fingers.
You hold the control.
Yeah, you hold the control. Yeah. Come on. You got the pocket. Yeah, you got the phone and all that. Go ahead.
God, this is Baruch chapter 5, verse 2. It says, "Cast about thee a double garment."
Yep, cast about thee a double garment. Go ahead.
"Of the righteousness which cometh from the Most High."
Yeah, and that's dealing with this truth, man. So not only get this truth, but you should double it. Meaning you got to grow in this thing. Right? Go ahead.
It says, "And set a diadem on thine head of the glory of the everlasting."
Is it? All right. Yeah, so let's go ahead.
So I got it.
You got something?
I got that word, diadem.
Okay.
A jeweled crown or headband worn as a symbol of sovereignty.
Oh, I thought that. Go ahead.
And just make a point. That's like they're going just make a point because it's going to actually manifest to a physical crown.
That's it.
Until you're going to spring to everlasting. Everything's process is going to grow into its perfection. Yeah. So we thinking immortal thoughts that's actually going to transform into immortality. It's going to transform into power and rulership. We just talking about it, just this barbershop talk. No, we speaking things into existence, man. To spirify you, how about some else?
And that spirit, I had to do a lesson on that. I know y'all like the boy on, you know what I mean? But that tiger. But the immortal thoughts.
That's a series.
That's a series. But in that lesson, I mentioned that being in this hearing, subscribing to these teachings, is actually immortal thoughts. I know y'all our own one, man. Yeah, go ahead. But I was amped up in the spirit, because that's what this is. Like the brother said, you're gonna transform. Right. You're gonna physically be manifested into immortality but it starts with that thought. See that? You go ahead.
Ezekiel 9:4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
And that's what you're witnessing. This is a form of sighing and crying. All right? And we mentioned it earlier. The scriptures say prophesy against Mount Seir. So when we prophesy against Mount Seir, we're prophesying against all the abominations that's done in the midst thereof. Go ahead.
It says, and to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark.
Right. So these death angels was given explicit orders to put down everybody that didn't have the mark. Okay? Go ahead up.
It says, and begin at my sanctuary, and they began at the ancient man which were before the house.
Now you look at the word mark. So you see right here, everything is really life or death, man. If you don't have the mark, right, then that means the Lord is going to send forth death angels. You're going to be numbered to the sword. You're going to fall under the category of the 2/3. That's the storyline when concerning Israel. You're going to have 2/3 that are going to be cut off and they're going to die. You're going to have 1/3 that's going to remain. All right? And it's going to be based upon those who have the mark or not. Right? Go ahead. Up.
So that word mark, strong H, 8420, the wa, says mark as a sign of exemption.
As a sign of exemption.
From judgment.
Yep, as a sign of exemption from judgment. Do you get some of the Strong's?
It just says, in the Strong's, it says a mark, a signature.
Oh, a signature. That's just like a uniform. You know, like just say if you have, the Spirit got me, I went into this before. Let's say like you got a certain team. The signature of that team might be an emblem. It might, let's say it might be the Chicago Bears. That is a signature separation. You have a signature. Matter of fact, look up that word signature.
Got some real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's Revelation 14, verse 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000.
Yep, go ahead.
Having his father's name written in their forehead.
Yeah, written in their forehead. Look at that word written. Yeah, go ahead.
So this is that word signature. And it says a person's name written in a distinctive way as a
in a distinctive way. Like you might have Bears written it's a certain way, a signature way is written. Go ahead.
It says in a distinctive way as a form of identification.
Oh man, as a form of identifying, distinguishing betwixt, you know, something that's a uniform. Go ahead.
It says in authorizing a check or a document or concluding a letter.
Yep, yeah, like signing off on you, pretty much. That signet, that's how you give it a go now. So the name written in their forehead, that's that signature uniform. Yahweh's. You know, it's really that's Yahweh side. That's Yahweh by Shemel side. That's how.
Engraved in our hand.
Yeah, I was engraved in our hand. That's beautiful. Yep. You good. You got the word written.
Yeah, I got the word written. It's it's grapho, and it says to write with reference to the form of the letters.
Ooh, to write with reverence. Yep. What?
It says to write with reference to the contents of writing. I'm gonna jump down. It says right here. It says to write to one by writing in a written epistle to give information and directions.
Yep. Come on up.
I got that word logo. It says a symbol or other design adopted by an organization to identify its product.
Oh, well, that's it.
Uniform.
And that's it. That's it. It's like we're in an assembly line, and the Lord stamping us with that stamp of approval, that covering, man. See, go ahead.
It says to identify its products, uniform, vehicles, etc.
Hey, come on, see. But that's pretty much what this word was set up to do. It was pretty much to distinguish, to decipher those who would be, you know, counted as vessels of honor, if you will, versus those who want to be destroyed, man. Okay, so that's why this word and getting this word is so critical. You had something else over there?
It says similarities. It says Mark.
Hey, with that, hey, look up that word, Mark, real quick.
And it also say coats of arms.
Oh, coats of arms.
Coats of arms.
Well, yeah, coats of arms, it identifies your rank. You got a coat of arms, it's like, this, you have your accolades. That's what the angels gonna see. They're gonna see the accolade. They're gonna say, this is the prophet. This is the prophet Micah, man. Yep, go ahead. Hey, the animals gonna see that too. The scripture said the beast of the field is gonna be at peace with thee. And we was going into that the other day. I think that was yesterday. How you got to have fear for certain beasts for that to make sense. You can't be like, man, I ain't scared of no beast. Well, that don't apply to you then. When the Lord said the beast of the field will be at peace with thee. That's only gonna comfort those, who's in fear of the beast. You got, you scared of a lion, then the Lord have a lion come and be at peace with you. Yeah, go ahead.
Now that word mark is a lot, but I'm going to the point. It says a line, figure, or symbol made as an indication or record of something. Record of something.
A record of something, yeah. So that mark is an indicator. Is like we said, to simplify it, if you consider two opposing teams, you know the difference with those teams by way of the distinction of the patterns of the uniform, whether the name, the logo, the sheep versus the eagle, Matter of fact, you got something?
Yeah.
Real quick.
Just
go ahead.
Going back to that, what that was written when in Revelation 14:1 when it says,
because I know
the Father's name written in their forehead, just going to the Strong's definition.
Okay, go ahead, come on.
It says to grave, especially to write. It says to describe.
To describe. That's the uniform.
Oh, to describe. Oh, that's bad. Yeah. It said describe. Yeah.
That's it.
Hey, that's bad. Because that distinguishes the uniform. So in the spirit, right, the angel's not going to be looking at how big your beard, they're going to be looking at your spirit. That way, that's what's the 2 Samuel, the 16th chapter. The Lord said, not as man said, for the Lord looketh upon the inner man.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be within you. Those angels are going to see that you're going to have that signet, that signature stamp, that mark. You're going to be numbered. You're going to be clothed with the garments. Matter of fact, is that Revelation? I want to say Revelation. Is that 19 or? It's put on your glorious garments. I know it's another one. In Isaiah, put on that glorious garments. Yeah, go ahead. What? That was it.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. Logo. You want to go in something else on there?
No. Oh well, that word mark. You looked that up. You already got that word.
Yeah.
Okay, you can look at some more of those similar words if it's more. I think I want to say that.
Let's see.
Yeah. Just going back on that garment. It's Isaiah 22 and verse 21. It says, and I will clothe him with thy robe and strengthen him with thy girdle, and I will commit thy government to his hand, and he shall be a father to the inhabitants of Jerusalem and to the house of Judah.
Yep, you got that.
Oh, that's Yahushua, man. We many Yahushua through Spirit by Yahushua. That's why the Lord said that the wall, that mark, Now, a little bit more. It says, in the key of the house of David will I lay upon his shoulder.
Oh, I think so.
And he shall open, and none shall shut. And he shall shut, and none shall open. And that's the Revelation 3rd chapter. Say, that house is a little strength. You know what I'm saying? Because again, the house of David not weak, man, through the spirit, man. You know what I'm saying? That the house of David not gonna let nobody take their crown, man. So you got it.
Yep, come on, we can do it.
Revelation 16:15. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shine.
Yeah. So their garment is a covering. It's their uniform, man. So coming into this truth, you have been given garments. That's what happens when you first come in. The Lord give you a fresh white uniform. Then it's up to you not to get a spaghetti stain on it, man. you know, or blot, you know. So the Lord said, he that keepeth his garment. So you got to keep this understanding, this pureness. You know, you can't deviate, or all of a sudden you conjure up some thought of you know, escaping an exit plan. Well, maybe if I work 40 hours, I get around to doing the work, you know, crazy shit. And so, anybody else got something? And so with that,
I got some closed out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Job 11:4 said, "For thou hast said, my doctrine is pure, and I am clean in thine eyes."
Yeah.
That's it.
And so with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory
To Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Double honors to our teachers, the head apostles and elders, the great millstone. Shalom to the brothers laboring in his work. And as always, you believe as the Akim as well as the Aqua, and subscribe to this truth as well. Till the next time, Shalom.
Shalom, DTA, Abba, Babal.